Hey, what's going on? YST here, welcome back to another raid video. Today we're going to go over the stage 25 Spider's Den and my kind of strategy to kind of clear it out in 40 seconds to 1 minute. It doesn't require legendaries, but today we are going to use the Ignatious, but any AOE HP band champion can be used in this position. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the gear and the masteries very briefly of the champions that I'm using on the first one, but then I'm going to cover a few other champions you may use after the run. So first off, Achak The Wenderin, amazing champion. And what are we using him for? AOE freeze. So when we got the HP burns out, we want to have the freeze on all the spiderlings so we're not in jeopardy to die at any moment of the run. So what you want to do in the masteries is head down to fearsome presence to get an extra 5% on landing the freeze, because 95% is better than 90. You don't want to have 3 or 4 spiderlings alive because some of your champions will end up dying and it's not going to be consistent in the long run. And he's also got a 25% aura, which is really nice. And even if you don't want to do the Spider's Den, really recommend building this champion out. Extremely good CC champion. And the way that I've kind of built him is accuracy and perception sets. And overall stats, we've got 58,000 HP, 2,700 defense, 225 speed. The only thing you want to kind of bear in mind here is Achak The Wenderin needs to be faster than your HP burn champion. So around 220 is kind of where you want to sit at. And then we've got a 95% crit rate. You do not need crit rate on this champion. I've just done it for other areas of the game like the Doom Tower for example. And 389 accuracy, around 220, 230 should be fine for you to land it consistently. Okay, so let's get into the next champion that I'm going to be using, that is Coldheart. And we are going to be using 2 of them in this run. But after this run, I'll show you a way that you can use one and still get away with it. But it's a kind of different strategy, that one. So what we're using it for is the Heart Seeker, and unfortunately the turn meter reduction on stage 21 to 25 has been dropped down to 50%, which has made it very hard for the average player to kind of get through these waves. But the way that she prioritizes it is this AoE. So once we can kind of prioritize the skills that we use beforehand, you can kind of use Heart Seeker and we can maybe drop this down by a few more seconds. But so yeah, we just got broken sets, we've got accuracy, we've got speed, we've got crit damage on the gloves. I've dropped it down from an 80% to a 65 on this one. And overall stats on this Coldheart is 37,000 HP, 2,400 attack, 208 speed. You want her above 200 speed because she needs to go twice before your Renegade. So bear that in mind. If one of them are falling short before Renegade takes the turn, it's not going to work for you. And then we got 83% crit rate, 197% crit damage, and a 258 accuracy. Once again, 220 can work for you. And in this run, we don't have no decreased defense and no weaken, so it's kind of capped the amount of damage you can put on the spider. So I think it's around 700,000, 720 or something like that. So as long as you're hitting those kind of numbers, this run will go smoothly. And second Coldheart here, very similar. So we've got 100% crit rate, 247% crit damage on this one, and then we've got 265 accuracy and 31,000 HP. Okay, so next on the list is my HP burn champion. It's the only one that I've got built on my account, which is the only reason why I'm showcasing him. You can use anyone in his position, so you've got Mordecai, you've got Ultimate Gaelic, you've got the new Achak The Wenderin from the Doom Tower normal stage. So as long as you're clearing your secret rooms, you kind of should be close to him by now. But hopefully you do have an AOE HP burn champion on your account, otherwise it's going to be extremely hard. Valerian has made it so hard for the players to get past this because the turn meter has gone down to 50% and you also can't deal more than 10% enemy max HP. So the only way you can kind of do this is AOE HP burn or using Sisia Flame Tongue to absolutely wipe out the enemies. My good friend Smiley did do a video on that one, so if you've got that champion, you can go and check that one. So how have I built this champion? So we've got 60,000 HP, 3,700 defense, 194 speed. I've had to drop it down because I was seeing that he was taking a bit too many turns because he was at around 220 before. Then we got 57% crit rate, and I've had to drop down his crit damage because once again he was killing off the spiderlings too early. Then we got 263 accuracy, but on Ignatious he doesn't require accuracy because his HP burn cannot be resisted. And let's get into the next champion. So the next champion I'm going to be using here is Renegade. She needs no books, she doesn't have to be 6-star, she doesn't have to have masteries. The only reason I put a kind of kit here is in case one of the spiderlings take a turn, you don't want it to die because the AoE freeze is only 95%. So a shield set is nice. Then I put HP percent here and HP percent here. And you can see that there's no speed substats whatsoever. You do not want to affect her speed at all. So just put HP percent if you want to put gear on, or just run it without gear and kind of be risky. So what we're using it for is just for one skill. So it decreases the cooldown of all allied skills by 2 turns. This skill does not affect this champion or other champions with this skill. That's all we're using her here for. We want to reset those skills so Heart Seekers can go out again, HP burn can go out again, and it makes your run very fast. And if you stay tuned after these runs, I'll show you how you can use also Visix, the free legendary champion, to kind of do this as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so you're going to see here that Achak The Wenderin is going to go first with the AoE freeze, and then Coldhearts are going to follow with their AoE abilities first. I can't wait until they change that. So then we're going to get the HP burns out, and then you need everyone here to take an extra turn before Renegade takes the cooldown turn. So we're reducing the turn meter, getting some provokes out. There we go, reset skills. So then we get the freeze out again. The AoEs are going to cycle once again. And then Ignatious is going to take an A1 here because his cooldown is pretty long. And then right here we should be able to get another Heart Seeker and HP burn out again. So yep, here we go. And it will just tick him down. And there we go, 42 seconds. It doesn't require the legendary champion. Any AoE HP burn will work for you. So very impressive, and if you think this was a fluke, let's just run it one more time for you. Okay, so let's get into this next run again. It's going to run very similar or almost the exact same. So we're going to get the AoEs again, the HP burn, then we're going to get the Heart Seekers out, and then Renegade is going to reset our skills. And it's just going to be no matter of time before the spider is down once again. Let's see if we can beat that time that we just got. I think that was my best, by the way, the 42 seconds. Okay, looking good so far. And then we get the Heart Seekers out once again. Last HP burns. And it's no matter of time before this spider is gone. By the way, that Mastery, which I'll show you straight after this run, by the way, it works really good on Achak The Wenderin to keep that turn meter down just a little bit in case it falls a little bit out of sync. So it's always good to put that Mastery on. Forgot the name of it, we'll get into it now. Okay, so 53 seconds, we've got a nice little amulet there, and I've kind of figured that the rarity of these weapons are pretty good, so I will be farming this personally, but if you are going to struggle with it, maybe stick for 20 for now, but I really hope that this video can help you kind of progress into stage 25, especially for the progress missions. Okay, so the mastery that I was talking about on Achak The Wenderin, which was important, was this one here, Evil Eye. So decreases the target's turn meter when this champion hits them with the default skill for the first time. Decreases the turn meter by 20%, but it will be around 10% because, of course, the turn meter reduction has gone down by 50%. And with single target skills by 5% with AoE skills occurs once per target. So it really does kind of help you out if you just want to keep that turn meter down just a little bit if you can't reach specific speed requirements. So like I said before, let's try the other strategy, and it's using Visix The Unbowed. Really good champion. I initially built this champion for Spider 25 only, but I've kind of fell in love with this champion since the buff, to be honest, and it's going to be a lot of help with the Dark Hells faction wars. So what does she do now? So attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. It will go down to 7.5% with the turn meter reduction, then fills this champion's turn meter equal to the amount of the target loses. So that's going to be halved also because you're decreasing half, so you're only gaining half. So the main reason that I like to use this champion is for this one here. So I have buffed it up. Attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance once booked of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. This is really good if you can't reach the speed requirements, and also places the ally protect buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Really solid ability, not just for the spiders then. Then also on the A3, attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn, and places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of this max HP for 2 turns. So putting the provoke up, putting a shield on herself, making sure that your other allies aren't in jeopardy for 1 turn, and it can kind of help you out in trying to reach the stage 25. Really good champion, and you can book her out if you want to, but she's still very viable now, even without that. And also increases ally defense in faction crits by 37%, which is nice for your Dark Elves faction wars. So overall, very viable champion now. If you kind of remove this legendary bit here, she's a really good champion. And masteries, just in case you're intrigued, I've gone the offense going down to War Master. Then we've got the support tree going down to Master Hexer and Evil Eye because we want to make full use of this A1 ability. And the overall stats, we got 52,000 HP, 3,000 defense, the 220 speed I was talking about earlier, 58% crit rate, 125% crit damage, and a 330 accuracy. It can be 230, 220. And then we've got perception set, speed sets, not the best gear. I haven't fully rolled out because I'm waiting for the artifact enhancement event. So let's get into the run now with Visix The Unbowed. Okay, so I'm going to kind of replicate similar to a comp that you could kind of come up with. So if you just put like a Gorgarav and then an Ultimate Gaelic, they could kind of replace these two. So you're getting the increased turn meter from Gorgarav and the revives, and then you've got your HP burn champion of Ultimate Gaelic, and it can work for you. Then you've got the Visix, the Achak The Wenderin, and only 1 Coldheart. So let's see how this one plays out. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on full auto. I'm not going to do any reruns. We're just going to see how it works out. So we're going to get the block debuffs, the nice freezes on the AoE, the crease speed, and our HP burns. I believe this one will take a little bit longer, but let's see where we can get it to. And there we go, that's the provoke. We've got the Heartseeker route. I think this one will take around 2 cycles because that turn meter is looking very scary right now. There we go, turn meter reduction on the A1. Keeping that spider down. Hopefully get a few more ticks here with the HP burns before the next cycle. Alright, freezes out again. More turn meters on the A1 from Visix. And hopefully our Coldheart here can kind of keep that Heartseeker for the next rotation. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this is where you kind of want to have a reviver, like a Gore Grab or any other one that you may have. Duchess obviously is the best choice. Okay, so now we got the provoke on again. Hopefully get some more freezes out. There we go. Ignatious, have you got a burn ready? There we go. Okay, so now the spider's not going to be able to eat the spiders for another 2 turns. So this should kind of be it as long as the spiderlings stay alive. Alright, it's starting to chunk down quite a lot now. Turn meter reductions. I really want that Sissia Flame Tongue. Have you seen people do the crazy HP burn explosions? My god, she is S tier for this. If you have her, congrats, and I want to see a lot of comps that you guys come up with. But yeah, if you do have any other compositions, you can join the Discord and share it with everyone. I'll be excited to see because I kind of feel that HP burn is the only way to get through these dungeons. So if you don't have that, you're going to have a lot of struggle. It's going to be really hard. Alright, how are we doing? 2 minutes. So I wouldn't say speed farm, but it's reliable. We're staying alive, we're getting through the run, so when you get through to the progress missions, this could be a way that you could kind of use it, just to get through the missions and go back to stage 20 where you may like it. Alright, come on, can we get a Heartseeker or something? This one isn't speed tuned. I've kind of done the other run, so this is just kind of throwing in a few champions and seeing how we go. Alright, HP burn, this should be it now. But it's still really good and really impressive, so if you do want to get through it, you could kind of use this composition. So Gore Grab, you can have your Ultimate Gaelic, you can have the Achak The Wenderin, Mordecai, loads of champions, hopefully you have one of those. And I just want to give an honourable mention to one other champion before we sign off. You're not going to believe who it is, but it's going to be Coldheart the Bloodied. Why, you may ask? So he attacks one enemy 2 times at random. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed for 2 turns. So decreased speed on the spider is very viable. And then on the A3, attacks one enemy and steals the target's turn meter. So now that you can't fully deplete with a Coldheart, you may only have one Coldheart and you might have one Coldheart the Bloodied. He can kind of substitute for another Coldheart. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, but if you do book it out, it's on a 4-turn. But even without, it could kind of get you through this stage. And on his aura, 25% speed in all dungeons by 24%. That is really hefty, so if you can't reach the speed requirements, Coldheart is a good option. And also, if you only have a single target HP burn champion, Visix The Unbowed is a really good one. So he applies the debuff spread, so if you put a HP burn on the spider, he can go through, put the debuff spread so it goes on all the spiderlings, and then you can kind of run it that way as well. Of course, not many champions have this kind of debuff spread ability, but hopefully they implement a few more into the game of an epic rarity. So that's going to be all for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I hope this video can kind of help you get through this stage, and if not, kind of something to look forward to in the future. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.